We know about D.B. Cooper, Amelia Earhart, and Jimmy Hoffa. That is, we know that we don't know for sure, and might well never know, what became of the aviator, the hijacker, and the labor union chief. As much as we might suspect an accident, an escape, or foul play, some people, both famous and otherwise, simply seem to vanish without a trace, their fates destined to remain a mystery forever. But not every cold case draws the same level of attention as these three. Here are 15 other cases, stories of people who disappeared or met strange and unexplained ends. And speaking of mysteries, even Shakespeare's death is still something of a cliffhanger. Number 15. Michael Mike McLean. They're after me, more than one. These were the last words Michael Mike McLean ever spoke to his boss in a cryptic phone call just before 2 a.m. on April 21, 2019. The 29-year-old Manchester, New Hampshire resident had spent the night with friends at the Tropical Lounge nightclub in Nashua. What seemed like a typical evening quickly turned ominous when a fight broke out between two women outside the club. Mike, who knew one of the women, intervened to break it up. When police arrived to disperse the crowd, Mike's friends lost sight of him. After that call, Mike vanished. His phone last pinged near a McDonald's a few blocks from the club. He missed Easter calls and his sister's birthday, which was unlike him. Investigators suspect he may have drowned in the Merrimack River, but his family insists he was a strong swimmer. With no social media activity, credit card use, or a recovered body, Mike's disappearance remains a chilling mystery. His family, still after 5 years, refuses to give up hope. That's what a family is. Number 14. The Martin family. You must have heard about the Martin family, whose disappearance in December 1958 still haunts Oregon's history. Days before Christmas, Kenneth and Barbara Martin, along with their daughters Barbie, Virginia, and Sue, left their Portland home to collect greenery from the Columbia River Gorge. They planned to return shortly, leaving dishes in the sink and laundry unfinished. But the Martins never came back. After stopping for gas at Cascade Locks, they vanished without a trace. Months of searching yielded nothing. No sign of their 1954 Ford station wagon or the family. Then, in May 1959, the bodies of Virginia and Sue were found floating in the Columbia River. Both were declared drowning victims, though Virginia had a mysterious head wound. The remaining family members were never recovered, and unsettling clues hinted at foul play. Suspicion even fell on their eldest son, Donald, stationed across the country. However, the truth remains elusive, leaving this case shrouded in eerie uncertainty. Number 13. Virginia Dare. Well, anyone can make history, but not everyone becomes its greatest mystery. Virginia Dare, born on August 18, 1587 in the Roanoke colony, holds the distinction of being the first English child born in the Americas. Her arrival marked a hopeful chapter in the fledgling colony's story. But what should have been the beginning of a legacy turned into one of history's most perplexing enigmas. Her grandfather, John White, who had helped establish Roanoke, left the colony to fetch supplies from England. When he returned 3 years later, he was met with an eerie silence. The entire colony, including Virginia, had vanished without a trace. No people, no buildings, no sign of a struggle. The only clue? The word Croatoan is carved into a wooden post. What became of Virginia Dare and the lost colonists? Were they absorbed into a local tribe, or did they meet a darker fate? Centuries later, their disappearance still defies explanation. Number 12. Harold Holt. Well, a normal person can vanish without much fanfare, but when it's a sitting prime minister, the world takes notice. Harold Holt, Australia's 17th prime minister, was known for his love of the ocean and his reclusive tendencies. On December 17, 1967, Holt went for a swim at Cheviot Beach in Victoria, a place notorious for its strong currents and unpredictable waters. He never returned. What followed was one of the largest search efforts in Australian history, involving Navy divers, helicopters, and volunteers. Despite their super best efforts, no trace of Holt was ever found. Theories surrounding his disappearance have ranged from the plausible, he drowned in the turbulent waters, to the bizarre, including tales of assassination, a staged escape with a lover, or even capture by a Chinese submarine. While his disappearance is officially attributed to drowning, the absence of a body and the enduring mystery continue to spark speculation, making Harold Holt's vanishing one of Australia's greatest unsolved enigmas. Number 11. Brooklyn Farthing. On June 21, 2013, 18-year-old Brooklyn Farthing had a busy day in Madison County, Kentucky. She and her sister passed their driver's tests, attended their grandfather's 70th birthday, and later went to a party in a field. When her plans to stay with a friend fell apart, Brooklyn accepted a ride from two men. One was dropped off, and the other took her to his house in Berea. Around 4 a.m., Brooklyn called her sister, asking if their cousin could pick her up. Unfortunately, he couldn't drive, and she didn't want to bother her mom. She then contacted her ex-boyfriend, who promised to come after his shift. But as he drove, he received chilling texts from her. "Can you hurry?" followed by, "I'm scared." Then, abruptly, "Never mind." When the house owner returned, it was on fire. Brooklyn's belongings were found inside, but she was gone. Despite ongoing investigations, her whereabouts remain a haunting mystery to this day. Number 10. Owen Parfitt. Well, the disappearance of old Owen Parfitt from his sister's front porch in the English countryside isn't nearly as famous as, say, Amelia Earhart's in 1937, but it's arguably even more mysterious. Sometime around the summer of 1763, accounts differ on the exact year, Owen Parfitt, a 60-year-old paralyzed man living with his sister in Shepton Mallet, vanished without a trace. Owen, unable to walk or care for himself, was sitting on the porch when he was last seen. Farm workers in the nearby field recalled seeing him moments before, but none saw anyone approach or leave the house. One moment he was there, the next, he was gone. Despite searches and speculation, no clues ever surfaced to explain his disappearance. Some locals whispered of kidnappings, while others leaned toward more supernatural explanations. To this day, the mystery of Owen Parfitt's vanishing remains one of England's most enduring enigmas. Number 9. Chase Allen Lackey. Chase Allen Lackey, 25, was a proud member of a recreational softball league. On June 30th, 2017, his father, Craig, watched him play one of his games. As Chase left the field that day, he turned to Craig and said his final words, "I love you, Pop." The next day, Chase was seen walking his dog outside his Houston area apartment. Then he vanished. His apartment showed no signs of forced entry, nothing was stolen, and his truck remained untouched. Both Chase and his dog disappeared without a trace. While investigators described Chase as living a normal life, they suspect foul play. Some of his friends were reportedly involved in illegal activities, but no arrests have been made, and authorities remain tight-lipped about any leads. Years later, Chase's loved ones continue to search for answers, holding on to the memory of his warm smile and kind words. It's 2025, and the case is still open. So what happened to Chase? Did he walk away from his worries, or did something more sinister happen to him? Well, the truth remains unknown. Number 8. Matthew Jonathan Weaver Jr. Matthew Weaver Jr., a 21-year-old power line worker with big dreams, seemed to have his life ahead of him. In the summer of 2018, he moved to Granada Hills, Los Angeles, from his family home in Simi Valley. On August 9th, he told his dad he was meeting a new female acquaintance. After dropping her off early the next morning, Matthew drove to Topanga in the Santa Monica Mountains, where he posted a Snapchat of a scenic sunrise. Hours later, his female friend received unsettling text messages. Like some crazy is going on, and I just want to talk while I have the chance. At 1:30 a.m. on August 11th, hikers and police reported hearing screams and someone shouting, "He's got a gun!" Matthew's car was found near a hiking trail, but his keys weren't discovered until months later. His family later found a torn shirt and a cap believed to be his. Some people say there is more to the story than meets the eye, while others say that text messages may provide clues about what happened. But so far, there have been no solid leads. Number 7. Ambrose Beerus. The stories of American author Ambrose Beerus, known for their dark themes and intrigue, partly inspired the first season of HBO's True Detective. Yet Beerus's own life became a real-life mystery that remains unsolved. In 1913, at the age of 71, Beerus announced to friends and family that he was heading to Mexico to join Pancho Villa's revolution. He sent a few letters from Mexico, his last reportedly written in December of that year, but after that, he vanished without a trace. Speculation about his fate has swirled for over a century. Some believe Beerus was killed in the chaos of the revolution, possibly as a casualty of battle or execution. Others think he may have staged his disappearance to commit suicide, staying true to the grim finality often reflected in his writing. Whatever the truth, Beerus's disappearance has become as enigmatic as the haunting tales he left behind, cementing his legacy as one of literature's great mysteries. Number 6. Bobby Dunbar. In 1912, a family outing turned into a mystery that has puzzled generations. 4-year-old Bobby Dunbar wandered off from his family during a trip to Swayze Lake in Louisiana and was never seen again. Some believed he drowned after falling from a nearby railroad trestle, while others suspected he was abducted by a strange man reportedly seen in the area. The case took an unexpected turn when authorities found a boy they claimed was Bobby, reuniting him with his family. But in 2004, DNA testing revealed the boy who returned wasn't Bobby Dunbar at all, but another child entirely, likely coerced into taking Bobby's place. The real Bobby's fate remains a mystery, with no clues to confirm what happened that day. His story, immortalized by This American Life, continues to highlight the fragility of identity and the painful uncertainty that haunted his family for over a century. Number 5. Billy Gaffney. In February 1927, 4-year-old Billy Gaffney vanished from his Brooklyn apartment building while playing in the hallway with a 3-year-old friend. When the younger boy was found on the rooftop, he told a chilling story. The boogeyman, described as an elderly man with a gray mustache, had taken Billy away. Years later, the infamous serial killer Albert Fish confessed to Billy's gruesome murder, claiming he had lured the kid away and detailing horrific acts. Despite his confession, Billy's remains were never recovered, leaving a gaping hole in the story. Billy's case, horrifying in its details, underscores the vulnerability of children and the chilling reality of predators like Fish. To this day, his story serves as a grim reminder of the dangers lurking in unexpected places and the devastating pain left in the wake of unsolved disappearances. Number 4. Mary Moroni. During the Great Depression, desperation led many families to trust strangers offering help. For 2-year-old Mary Moroni's family, this trust ended in heartbreak. In May 1930, Mary's parents allowed her to spend a day with a woman who introduced herself as Julia Otis. Julia never returned with Mary. Days later, the family received a letter from a woman claiming to be Julia's cousin. The letter explained that Julia was love-hungry after losing her husband and child and promised she would care for Mary. Despite efforts to locate her, Mary was never seen again. Now in her 90s, if alive, Mary could be living a life unaware of her true identity. Now let's talk about number 3, Evelyn Hartley. Evelyn Hartley's disappearance feels like a chilling scene from a horror movie. In 1953, the teenager was babysitting at a home in La Crosse, Wisconsin, but failed to check in with her parents at the agreed time. Concerned, her father went to check on her and found the house locked, the lights and radio still on, but no sign of Evelyn. Inside, there were signs of a struggle, a broken window, scattered belongings, and pools of blood thought to be Evelyn's. Witnesses later reported seeing a girl resembling Evelyn being dragged by a man into a car. Despite a massive search and countless leads, Evelyn was never found. Her case remains unsolved. Number 2, Nicholas Begic and Thomas Hale Boggs. In 1972, U.S. Congressman Nicholas Begic of Alaska and Hale Boggs of Louisiana boarded a small plane for a fundraising trip from Anchorage to Juneau. Tragically, the plane never reached its destination, disappearing over the rugged Chugach Mountains. The search effort was huge. More than 100 planes, 40 military aircraft, and hundreds of boats scoured the region for over a month. Yet, no trace of the plane or its 4 occupants was ever found. The National Transportation Safety Board was unable to determine the cause of the disappearance, and both men were declared dead on December 29, 1972. To honor their memory, mountain peaks in Alaska were named after Boggs and Begic in 1977. Decades later, the fate of the congressmen and their plane remains an enduring mystery. Number 1, Romulus, first king of Rome. Romulus, the legendary founder and first king of Rome, is as mysterious in death as he is in life. According to Roman mythology, he established the city in 753 BCE and ruled for nearly 40 years. But around 717 BCE, his life ended under puzzling circumstances. Some accounts claim Romulus disappeared during a storm, swept away in a divine whirlwind, and ascended to the heavens. Others suggest a darker fate, that he was assassinated by the Senate or torn apart by angry politicians, frustrated with his rule. The historian Cassius Dio supports the theory of political murder. Whether myth, legend, son of a god, real person, or some combination of all that, Romulus's story continues to captivate and intrigue. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.